In this video, I want to talk about some of the customization that you have with forms and how you can change the theme of the forms. And I also want to point out a couple of add-ons that you can use with forms if you want to. Now, the first thing we're going to do is change the theme of the form. Now, to do that, you're going to go up here to where you see this thing where it says Edit Questions and Change Theme. Now, Edit Questions is where you typically live in a form. This is where you modify what the questions are that you're going to ask. The only time you really need to change a theme is if you want to change what it looks like. So that would change the view of the theme for when people are looking at it. So if you click on the Change Theme button, it will change what this looks like so that it looks like the web page that your students would go to when they see this theme. So if you scroll down here, this is what it would look like for your students on that web page, except they wouldn't have all the top bars. Now, you can change the theme of this if you don't want the basic white. You can go over here, and there's a couple of default themes that they have over here that you can choose from. So if you find one that you like, let's say the city skyline, you can click on that and it will change the form to a city skyline form. And what that does is it changes the top to a city skyline. If you want to further customize that, you can click right here on the Customize button, and it will allow you to customize even further. Now, if you want to customize the header image, which is the cityscape, you can click on that and you can change the image. They have thousands of images in their library, and some of them are GIFs, so they actually move. You also have the ability to upload your own GIF. So if you look right here down at the bottom of this list, here it says upload. You can upload an image from your gallery, or you can upload something from Google Drive instead. If I wanted to click on Google Drive, I could find something that I wanted to do. Let's say that I wanted to do the curriculum and instruction logo on the top, and that's kind of big for this, but I could do that. So I have my curriculum instruction and assessment logo that I put at the top. Now, other things that I can do is I can change these: title, description, question, help text, and options. All of these are different things within the form. So the title, for example, is for this demo form 2. There is no description for this particular one. But then the questions are here, and if I had any help texts, they'd be down below that as well. But what I can do inside of those is I can either change what type of font it is, or I can bold the font, I can change the color, or I can change the text size. Some of the people have said that the forms are just too small for their students to read on Chromebooks, especially at the elementary level. So what they could do is they could go to, maybe not the title necessarily, but they could go to the question size, and they could change the question size from small to a medium or a large. So the questions appear larger on the screen, and it's easier for the students to read those questions. Another couple of options that you have are to adjust the form background. So if you wanted to do a background color to the form, let's say that I wanted a light or a muted yellow, I could do that and it would put a muted yellow color on the form itself. And then I could also do the page background, and I could put an image. And what that image would do is it would come out here on the sides of the form, so you would see the image outside of the form, but you wouldn't see it inside of the form. So I'm not too big of a fan of actually doing the form background unless you get something that tiles nicely and you get little versions of it out here. So those are a couple of things that you can do to customize the theme. The other thing that I wanted to show in this video is add-ons that you can use. There's 2 add-ons that I want to talk about. And I'm not going to go into detail about these other than a short description. So if you need any help, you can contact me individually, or if it seems like there's a lot of interest, I can do another video that kind of goes over it, or maybe meet with groups of teachers together. The first one is called Form Publisher, and this takes a little bit of work to configure, but what this does is it will create a document, specifically a Google document, for every single student that responds to the form. And so every student will get a copy of a document that has their form responses on it. And the reason that you would do this is so that you would have a copy for each of the students, and they would be able to view that and see what their scores were. So they could see the answers that they had to a quiz or things like that, which would be really nice to try to give things back to students. One of the issues with making everything digital and using Chromebooks for things is it's hard to give things back to students so they can look at it and kind of assess it themselves. So this is one way to do that. They can get the answers back, and then they can see what the correct answers are also. And then because you went through that and showed them what their answers were and what the correct answers were, they can see what mistakes they made and what they need to fix. The other thing is GMath for forms, and what this is it helps you to create math expressions. Now this is a little bit limited on forms. You can't do math expressions in the answer choices, but you can do math expressions in the questions. And what it does is basically takes a math expression and it creates an image for that math expression that it puts into the form. And then it creates a question that goes with that image. So if you want to do math expressions, you can do that using GMath for forms, and there's some functionality there. But again, it's a little bit limited because you can't put images into the answer choices, and because of that, you can't have answer choices that are formatted in math functions. So that's it for this video.